Thanks for watching. My name is Josh Reed with the West Star Dream Team class of 2012. Joining me here this afternoon is fellow West Star alumni and good friend of mine, Mr. Jeff Griggs. Appreciate you joining with us. Jeff is a graduate of the West Star class of 2004. We are filming here in Henderson County, right here in the heart of beautiful West Tennessee. Jeff here with me, he has worked in business, local government, and currently is the director of the Beach River Watershed Development Authority. So Jeff, describe your career and how things have changed for you over the years.
Well, do you want me to start from the beginning of my career?
Sure.
Well, I know in 1974, Josh, my parents bought the local grocery store here in town. And for 34 years, we ran Griggs Big Star. We had a catering business and grocery business. And those years I spent in business working here in the community were very valuable to the success of my career. About 5 years ago, I came out here to Beach River Watershed and been the maintenance supervisor for the last 5 years, and that gave me an opportunity to, this agency controls about 10,000 acres, about 7,000 in land and 3 in water, 3,000 in water. So being the maintenance supervisor, put my feet on the ground and give me a chance to understand the outside of what all goes on with the watershed and keeping the maintenance part of it up and going. And then this week, this is actually my 4th day on the job as executive secretary, so I'm very excited about my new job and really looking forward to working in the future and trying to promote the lakes and things like that. On top of my past and my present, also with that, I was elected about 3 years ago to the city board. I'm a city alderman. Also, I'm vice mayor. I chair the water board and the finance board here in town. Also, I'm on the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Commission. I'm a commissioner for the state of Tennessee. I have District 7, and so that takes a lot of time too. I enjoy that as well. So and also on top of that, I manage my father's commercial and residential real estate. I look after all that for him too. So I've got about 4 jobs, and my wife says I only get paid for 1.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah.
You mentioned, we talked a little bit about you being director of the Beach River Watershed Authority. Tell us a little bit about that and lakes and maybe some of the reasons why they were built and
well, back
they still serve.
Way before your time, and probably about the time I was born, Dick Barry, who I call the godfather of the BRWDA, he was a local man here that was a politician in Nashville, and he had a vision and a dream of this. And of course, back in those days, there were a lot of erosion problems in these counties, and they were looking for things for farmers, were looking for a little help, with that. And Mr. Barry, in his wisdom and help through the federal government, formed all these lakes. Originally, there were 7 lakes. Pinnacle Lake was one of the original 7. But it was sold or swapped to kind of get the debt down, and we have 6 lakes currently that we look after now, and it's been such an asset to our community. I mean, through the tax roll and just in recreation, recruiting industry. I mean, it's just every town wants a lake. I know not too long ago Gibson County said one. Carroll County has just built a lake. I was over in Carroll County with the mayor the other day and checking it out, and I think they're scheduled to open next year. So everybody wants what we've got, and we've got more than one. We have several lakes.
Yeah, we're very fortunate about that. One thing that we mentioned is it's a time of recreation for Henderson County and surrounding area. Tell us a little bit about the Festival of the Lakes that your office works with, along with the Chamber of Commerce each year.
The Chamber, it's been a great addition. I know, I think when Mayor Dyer was in, they started the big Festival of the Lakes. We had the big 4th of July fireworks show that brings in so many people, and it's just, the lake is such an asset, and it has so much potential for things like the festival and other things, and that's things I'm hoping that we can expand on in the future, to do more here to promote not only the lake, but lakes in Henderson County.
Okay. Over the years, you worked in business and currently working in government. You've been very successful over the years. What are some of your philosophies that you've had over service, both dealing with customers and with the public?
Well, your whole life you're always taught that the customer is always right. That's not really true all the time, but in business you tried to make sure it was that way. The big thing that I have found in customer service or public service is just treat people the way you would want to be treated, and that's fair. As most people, that's all they want is to be treated fair. And the big thing when you deal with people is treat them like they're important and treat them with respect and listen to them. You may not always can do what people want you to do, and that's true in business, with a city or anything, but the big thing is just give them the time, be accessible and be responsive to them and do the best you can. And I think if you're that way and you're fair, you may not make them happy all the time, but you can lay your head on your pillow at night and you can sleep knowing that you've done all in your heart that you can do. That's kind of my philosophy.
I agree. It's a good philosophy to have. What have you seen or experienced in your professional life that has had an impact on our community?
Well, Josh, I truly believe the one thing that's dear to my heart is education. And I believe that in order for a town to compete, that you have to have an educated workforce. And one of the biggest things that I've seen and was a little bit part of was when we got Jackson State came in. I thought that was huge. I know through our technology center, we have people that don't want a college education, but want to learn a trade. I think some of the biggest things I've seen is getting Jackson State in, our technology center. Also, former Mayor Bobby Dyer, when he was in West Star, he came up with a deal on Project Success. With the mega site coming in and knowing that there's going to be some spin-offs or some factories coming in, I think it was very smart on his part to come up with Project Success, and that's where we round off the utility bills, take that money and offer scholarships for people. Because I really believe that we have to have an educated workforce in order to compete for jobs in the industry. And I think that's one of the most important things I've seen is education.
That's true, and not just those places here in Lexington, but we've also been fortunate enough to have several close by in the area, several four-year universities just nearby in Jackson, as well as the University of Tennessee at Martin in Parsons. Mm-hmm. So we had that just a few years ago. What has influenced your success as a business and community leader? To be honest with you, probably, most young people, when they get out of high school, they go to college and they get an education. I had the opportunity to go. My father probably would have sent me anywhere I wanted to go, but I felt like I wanted to be in the family business. I know you're in the family business. You know that feeling. You went on to school. Now, I have 3 children, and I pushed them for college because I wanted them to get an education. If they wanted to come back to family business, they could, but they had their education to fall back on. I didn't make that choice. I chose to stay in the family business, and I guess I give my success to my father. He's been a mentor, but just sitting back and learning business from him, his integrity. He's taught me so much about how to handle people. My dad's always been a person that treated everybody the same. It didn't matter who they were or what they were, what social status, financial status. It didn't really matter, but I guess I give a lot of my success to my dad and the example that he taught me in running a business, in dealing with people, and your word is your bond. There's so many things. He told me my whole life, you can live a whole life to build your name up, and you can take about 5 minutes to blow it all. And I give all my success to my dad. Sure. I know Mr. Harold Griggs, his father, is a very good man, and definitely very influential there.
Probably should have been interviewing him instead of me.
Yeah. What are some of the future goals that you have maybe for our town? And you're city alderman right now, some of those goals you might like to see us accomplish?
Most of my goals would fall in that area. I have goals here at the lake, and with the job here, I have goals with Tennessee Wildlife. I like to see, but my main goals right now are with the city. When I was elected about 3 years ago, I found that our city wasn't as in good a financial shape as what I had hoped and what we had heard. And one of my main goals is, while I'm elected and I'm on the board, I want to get our city back in good financial shape. We need to keep our bond rating up so that when we do borrow money, we can keep the interest rates low. But my main goal is to work hard with the rest of the board members and with the mayor and to get our city back in good financial shape. Also, Josh, we're about out of land at our industrial park. We need more land for another industrial park. That's a big goal of mine, to work with the board and with the mayor and with the county mayor and our commissioners to try to come up with some land for another industrial site, because we have got to be ready for industry when we come. You do not want somebody wanting to come and say, well, we don't have any. So that's a big goal. Now, long-term goal, and I know this is way out there, but the property that we have at the old airport, someday I would like to see a new city park with some walking trails, just that's on down the road. But
Jeff, thinking back over your career and your West Star experience, did any particular funny stories come to mind?
Josh, it's funny you asked me that, because my nickname in my 2004 West Star class was Joker Jeff. So we could come up with funny stories, or I could come up with a lot of the pranks that I pulled. But there was many of them I could go through. The banker in Dyersburg, it's almost like a Roy D. Mercer deal. But one of my favorite people that was in West Star was Virginia Grimes, and we were over in Hardin County one night, and they had a couple of these big fancy boats, and they carried everybody out on the water there, and we were having a good time, and found a bottle, and found a pen and paper, and I wrote Miss Virginia's name and address and telephone number and all that stuff. And she asked me what I was doing, and I said, well, we'll see. And I just put it in a bottle, capped it, and threw it in the water. Well, months went by, and we had graduation for West Star, and we were there one night, and this old guy come in, big muscle-bound guy in clothes, come in with that bottle in his hand. He had found her, and he was looking for Virginia Grimes. So Virginia, we cleared that with Bud, her husband, before we did that, and but Virginia remembers me well, and Dr. Dunnigan does. And there used to be this guy in 04, the very first session we had was at UT Martin, and there's a big, tall, skinny, funny-looking fella. I can't remember his name.
Was it Deal?
Charlie. Was
it
Charlie?
Charlie,
yeah, there was a guy named Charlie Deal, and he was the bus driver. And I've always heard that only in America good things can happen and you can be successful. I don't know whatever happened to Charlie Deal, but he was a lowly little bus driver. And maybe he's grown up to bigger and better things, and maybe he's over West Star. I don't know. But Charlie, be out there, man. I hope you've done well.
I think he's still working with West Star and doing well. We appreciate him and Virginia, and now Jacqueline also helping. They do a great job helping to prepare the future leaders of West Tennessee. That's all we have for today. On behalf of the 2012 West Star Dream Team class, thanks for watching.